Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Walnut Lodge Yoga, Volant location. This is the 7:15 pranayama class. Actually, it's pranayama and meditation. Using the pranayama to get into meditation. So we're going to do the same three things that we did last week. We're going to do a couple quick rounds of Kapalabhati just to get ourselves going. And then we're going to do Nadi Shohana, and we'll add a step, and then we'll do the Triktaka candle gazing. And I'll add something at the end of that one also. All right, so get yourself into a nice seated position, and remember, you'd like to be as comfortable as possible, but sometimes that doesn't work. So if in the middle of something you feel like you have to move, then just move. I mean, you'd like to be able to just sit here the entire time without moving, but do what you need to do. It's better to just give into it so that you can get it out of the way than spend the whole time sitting here just being consumed by the fact that you need to move your knee. All right, so we're trying to stay present. We're trying to stay focused. All those little physical distractions can, break focus. Sometimes you can just kind of push by them, just like the mental fluctuations that you get when you're meditating. Thoughts come, they float around. What you're trying to do is just let them go. You're trying to let them come in and then not pay attention to them and go. Some people have an easier time letting go of physical distractions. You just notice it and you just don't pay attention to it. If you can do that, then you don't move. If you can't do that, then you move so that then you can get back to a position where you feel comfortable. So before you start any kind of sitting stuff, I'm wiggling on my cushion. I have a little meditation cushion under my sit bones. I'm trying to get as comfy as possible. Make sure that your pelvis tilts slightly forward so that what you're doing is taking the pelvis into an anterior tilt, which keeps the curve of the lumbar spine, and it makes it way easier to sit. All right. So just give you a second to get into a decent position. And then put your hands on your knees. We're going to drop our chin. And the Kapalabhati is the sharp exhale using the stomach muscles. No inhale. So we started with this last week. We're going to do 1 minute if you can do it. And it's just kind of a warm-up. Kapalabhati means skull shining. It's really a kriya. It's a cleansing breath. It energizes you. And I just wanted to use this to wake our brains up a bit before we get into the Nadi Shohana. So again, nice tall sit, drop your chin, inhale, and begin. Exhale, inhale, just breathe normal. So that pace is my 100 exhales per minute. If that was too fast, then slow down. We're only going to do 2 rounds on this next round. You need it to be slow enough that you can recover the inhale, because the inhale is passive. And the faster paces just make that lower stomach work a little bit more, makes you a little hotter. Mainly here we're using it as a focus, so if you want to slow down, slow down. And I'm talking in between. What you should be doing is just taking nice, easy breaths. I'm really feeling like pranayama practice during this pandemic is probably one of the best things that you can do for yourself. Just making sure that you understand how to breathe. All right. Sit up nice and tall. Reform the line. Inhale and begin round 2. Inhale, exhale. 3-part yoga breath. Inhale into the belly, take it up into the ribs and into the collarbone, and exhale. Feel the drop of it. Inhale, diaphragm, belly, add the ribs, lift it into the collarbone, the biggest breath that you can. Expand. Exhale. Try to feel the back ribs going side. Inhale into the belly. Push the back ribs side. Take it into the chest. Exhale. Do more. Inhale, belly, ribs, collarbone. Exhale. One more. Inhale, belly, ribs, collarbone. Exhale. All right. Change your position if you need. Moving on to our second one. This will do for a little bit longer tonight. And the mudra that we used last week was this. Tonight, because of one of the things I want to do with the Tritaka, there's an alternate hand position. You can put your index finger and your middle finger right at your third eye. And then you're going to close your right nostril with your thumb and the left nostril with your ring finger. So it's the same thing. There's two things that are kind of good about this. One is that, you have this focus right here on the third eye. And 2, you can almost kind of rest your arm on your hand and your elbow. Sometimes when you're here, your arm can actually get tired, especially if we're going to do it for, 10 minutes or something. I don't think we're going to do it for that long tonight, but it's just something to think about. I like this one better. My hand usually doesn't get tired. My arm doesn't get tired. And I find this one somewhat distracting. But then I can really get into it sometimes also. It just kind of depends on what I'm going to do after the Nadi Shohana. So we're going to do 3 parts today. We're just going to warm up with part 1, which is inhale through the left nostril and exhale. We're going to do 10 rounds through our left and then switch 10 rounds through the right. What does this do? It just steps us into making that inhale, exhale slow. We're trying to make the inhale and the exhale on this first one even in terms of time. So you're going to kind of get a feel for how long it takes you to inhale, how long it takes you to exhale. As you continue practicing, you want that particular component of this practice to increase. So I count, and I think that's the easiest way to do it. Some people just feel it. I'm not that sensitive to time. So I count, and I'm trying to make my inhale and my exhale last. I kind of start with maybe 5 and see if that's an okay number. Maybe it's not, but you can change that time as you go, and that's why you start off with this first part, just to see kind of where you are today, and then we use that for the second part, and then we use the second part for the third part. All right, so sitting up nice and tall. You can use this, or you can use this. We're doing 3 parts. You might want to save this one for the last part. That's actually what I'm going to do. All right. I'm going to get a drink. I shake my hand. And then, this is the mudra. Close off your right nostril. Drop your chin just a little bit. We're not doing any bandhas. Just simple inhale, exhale. And then count your own 10 and then switch. I'll kind of watch. I can't watch. I'll watch myself, right? And at the end of 10, I'll kind of see where we are. All right. So close off the right nostril, drop your chin, and begin. Inhale and exhale through the left nostril. Switch at the end of whatever round you're on, or continue until you do 10, your choice. Left nostril. And release. Just nice, easy breaths. And open your eyes. If they were closed, mine were closed. Moving on to part 2. As I go through that, I can feel my system just clicking down, clicking down, clicking down, clicking down. You're trying to absorb your mind in this very simple process that is so beneficial to the respiratory system and then your pranic body, your energy body. So, Nadi Shodhana part 2 is the alternate nostril. So we're going to go in through the left, out through the right, in through the left, right, out through the left. So in through the left, out through the right, in through the right, out through the left. So again, we close off the nostrils, or you can use your fingers. Now, you all have an idea of what your count was like. Mine, I was counting 5. 5 in, 5 out. So you want to start with 5 if it was 5. If it was 6, start with 6. If it was less, start with whatever it was. Whatever the number was, that's what you start with here in part 2. So I'm going to inhale for 5 counts, and then I want to exhale for 10. So we're going to have a 2-to-1 ratio. The exhale, no matter what your number is, you'd like your exhale to last twice as long. And it's here that, we might lose each other. All right? So if you start off with 5 and you exhale for 10, and after 2 rounds of that you feel like you can't do it because you need more air, you got to slow down. Remember what I said last week. If you do this with anxiety, you're completely missing the point. We progress with pranayama in a very relaxed, comfortable way. And you progress very slowly. I mean, we have a lot of time, right? If, on the other hand, that 5 and 10 is like nothing, then go to 6 and 12. You can adjust it as you go. You don't have to decide right at the beginning. All right, so again, we're going to do only 5 rounds of this. And 1 round is in through the left, out through the right, in through the right, out through the left. Some people have trouble keeping count. I use my hand. I start with a fist, and I go. And then I use mudras, hand positions. I maybe talk about that in another class. All right, so use your hand, and when you're done, drop your chin, take a couple of big breaths. Hopefully we'll be done kind of at the same time. And if not, I'm sorry about that. It's just really difficult if I can't see you. Maybe I should Zoom this class. All right, so here we go. Either here or here. Close your right nostril off, drop your chin, and begin. Inhale through the left. Exhale through the right. And open your eyes. All right, kick down another step. Part 3. So we're going to use whatever ratio, whatever time we figured out on part 2, we're going to use that in part 3, if you can. So this is inhale, hold the breath in, and then exhale. And then inhale, hold the breath in, and then exhale. So if we're looking at ratios, the inhale is 1, the hold, the retention, antar, kumbhaka, 2, and then exhale, 2. So we're going to use the same amount of time for the hold, the hold in with the exhale. There's 2 kinds of holds. One is with a retention, a hold on the inhale, and one with a hold on the exhale. This is a hold on the inhale. So you're going to take nice big breath in, hold it, and then exhale. And the amount of time you hold it is the amount of time that you set up from part 2, which is the amount of time you took for your exhale. I hope that's clear. So I'll just give you my ratios. I'm using that 5. I'm inhaling for 5. I'm going to hold the breath in for 10, and then I'm going to exhale for 10. Inhale for 5, hold for 10, exhale for 10. Now, we're going to try to do 5 rounds again. And if that ratio is too much, then you have to just stop. Because this is where people get into trouble. You only want to hold that breath as long as you comfortably can. And if you practice, you will progress. And so that means more than just this time. If you have any questions, you guys, just text me. I'll answer any questions that you have. It's kind of confusing for some people. I find it really kind of easy. But then, I've been doing this for a really, really long time. So I've kind of forgotten what it was like to start. Because that seems to be, 100 years ago. It's not quite that long, but it's a long time. All right, so I'm going to use this mudra on this one. You can not use that if that feels weird, or you can start using it, and if you don't like it, change. So this is Nadi Shohana Part 3 with a retention on the inhale. When you're done, take 5 nice big breaths. Hopefully we're not too far away from each other in terms of time. All right, so close off the right nostril. Sit up nice and tall, drop your head slightly, and begin. Open your eyes. Hopefully we're all done. So we're looking for balance. We're looking for focus. We're looking for a release of tension. We have a lot of that. I think we have a lot of that now, especially around mask wearing. When I first put my mask on, there's about 2 or 3 minutes of anxiety. And I have to actually really slow my breath down and think about it, and then I can get over it. I don't know why that is. I'm used to wearing masks in different performance aspects. I think it's just really teaching and talking through it. I have to really, spend a lot of energy, projecting, and it just seems like it's a subconscious tightening. So actually, Melissa Lilly said it pretty well the other night. She said, well, I just realized that if I ujjayi'd, I could do it. What is that? Ujjayi, slowing down the breath, closing off the glottis a little bit, making that lovely sound. Well, some people don't think it's lovely, but the ujjayi breath can really, really help. But just to be aware of how you're breathing, I think that is a really wonderful benefit of what we're doing right now. So I feel pretty relaxed. Now we're going to go on to the last part, which is Tritaka. And I have a candle here. So if you have your own candle, you should look at your own candle, because what will happen here when I focus my camera on the candle, it just becomes like a white blob. Okay. My sister got this candle. Isn't this cool? It's just a tree. It's a tree limb. All right, so I'm going to move so that basically all you see is the candle. All right. And then I think I'll turn off another light this side. Yeah. All right, so again, Tritaka. You don't have to use a candle, but a candle is pretty much the easiest thing to use, because what we're looking for is a way to focus with our eyes open. So we're going to look at this as in the most comfortable position we can get in. You're going to try not to blink. Excuse me. If you have to blink, you blink. But you're going to try to just keep a steady gaze. Don't open your eyes really wide. Keep your lids kind of dropped. That helps. So we're going to stare at this candle, and then I'll tell you to close your eyes, and then what you want to do is you want to focus in the kind of on where your third eye is, or a little in front, and you're going to look for the image of the candle with your eyes closed. So last week I talked about how mine was a reverse image, and maybe yours is too, or maybe it looks exactly like your candle. We're going to try to hold that image as long as we can in our mind's eye. When you lose it, open your eyes again and stare at the candle for about another minute, and then close it and see if you can retain the image. That's our warm-up. So sit up nice and tall. Look at the flame. Keep your breath nice and even. And we're going to hold this gaze for 3 minutes. And close your eyes. Try to keep your eyes in one place. You'll want to flip around even with them closed. Just see the image for as long as you can. When you lose it, open your eyes again. This time for just 5 or 6 breaths, close your eyes again and see if you can get the image back. And open your eyes. All right. So, I hope you had some success with that. We're going to do one more thing. I wish I could answer your questions. I think that's why Ron went to a different format. And if you guys like this and would like me to continue, I'll change format so that we can have some back and forth with questions. And that would be, in the new year. All right, so the next part of this involves adding a mudra, Kachari mudra, and Ujjayi breath. So, what's Kachari mudra? It's a pretty weird thing, really. It's used for focusing, and then for other esoteric things that I don't really have time to talk about right now. But what a Kachari mudra is you're going to take your tongue, put it behind your teeth, and then slide it along your hard palate back to the back of your throat. And you're going to try to put your tongue in the place where your hard palate becomes your soft palate. And then you're just going to keep your tongue there and you're going to press it. So that's Kachari mudra. So let's just try it. So just slide your tongue back. Weird. What also helps is once you get it back there, if you try a sucking movement with your mouth, like you're trying to suck on a lollipop, then it'll pull your tongue back. People used to cut the frenum, which is the little line underneath your tongue. They used to cut that so that they could send the tongue back further to get closer to the back of the throat. I don't really even know if people do that anymore, but maybe they do. So while you're doing that, then you do Ujjayi breath. So if you don't know Ujjayi breath, you can't do this next part. We're only going to practice it a little bit. And if you don't know Ujjayi breath, send me a message and I'll try to talk you through that. But what we're going to do is look at the candle, and when you inhale with the Ujjayi, you're going to feel your breath go from the candle to your third eye to the back of your skull. That's inhale. And then you're going to exhale. You're going to feel the breath go through your brain to the third eye and back to the candle. So there's a whole bunch of things you have to do here. You have to keep your tongue in one place, and then you have to Ujjayi, and then you just have to imagine that the breath is coming from the candle, going to the back of your skull, and going back out. There's a part 2 to this, but we're just going to try just this today. All right, and we're only going to do it for a couple minutes. And then I want you to try to practice, and we'll do this next week with part 2. I think that the Kuchari Mudra is difficult at first, but it gets pretty comfortable pretty quickly. You just kind of have to do it for a minute or so. So again, the sequence is, you're going to push your tongue against the roof of your mouth. You're going to go back to your soft palate. You're going to keep your mouth closed. And then you're going to Ujjayi breath. And then we're going to add an image to the Ujjayi breath. We're going to try to pull the image of the flame through our third eye to the back of our skull. On the inhale, we're going to exhale. We're going to take that image back and out and to the flame. All right? So let's try that for just a minute or two. So I'm going to move away again. Sit up nice and tall. Push your tongue back. Do a couple of Ujjayi breaths just to warm up, and then begin. And release the breath. Release your tongue. Some of you might notice that it increases your saliva production. There's a lot of strange things going on there. Do you have to do that? No, you don't have to do that. You can just gaze at this candle And that's enough. But the other parts I think are really fun. I really enjoy the image retention. And remember, it's all about developing concentration, focus, and the mudras and the imagery, they really require that your brain engage in this particular thing. And you probably didn't think once about anything else in the middle of that. All right, so I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, if you have questions, let me know. I'll be back here next week, same time, same channel. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. The Lodge appreciates it. Namaste.